Namaskaram. Clause number 44 has become a challenging clause in this year because this is the first time you guys are reporting under clause number 44. This clause was introduced last year only, but it was postponed to the next year because the industry was not ready to report under clause number 44. Why? Because many of the time you know that fake expenses are booked on the profit and loss account debit side just to reduce the profit and loss account. And even today, more than 95% people who are supposed to get registered under GST law, they are not registered. Many of the time they are dealing in the cash, or they are showing the turnover which is less than the appropriate turnover. And even if they have crossed the turnover, they are not yet registered. So Government of India here is trying to gather that data from all of you, that how much of your total expenditure you are spending on composition dealer, you are spending on exempt dealer, and you are spending on registered dealer. So these are the three primary agenda of Government of India from all of the tax audit entities. Then they will understand the volume at which the unregistered entities are operating in the economy. So here the breakup of total expenditure, they are saying it total expenditure, but GST relevant total expenditure, I'll show you that. So total expenditure of the entities registered or not registered under GST, whether you are registered or whether you are not, whether you are registered or not registered, that is not important. Then you will say, sir, if somebody is having the tax audit applicability, how come that person is not registered under GST? Because sometimes assessee is supplying exclusively an exempt product, so that particular entity will not be registered under GST. Yesterday only we had one case in our office. The person was in the ginger trading, ginger, adrak, ginger. So he is not registered. His turnover was around 8 crore rupees. So definitely we had to do the reporting under clause number 44, even though he was not registered. What if you are dealing in alcoholic liquor for human consumption? You are a wine shop, and wine shop is not required to get registered under GST law. You are registered under your state excise law, isn't it, state VAT law. So you are not a GST registered person, but your turnover is exceeding 1 crore rupees or 10 crore rupees, as the case may be. So you should be doing reporting in here, because here it's not about your GST. It's about you are incurring expenditures, whether those expenditures were GST covered expenditure or not GST covered expenditure. So the first column here is total amount of expenditure incurred during the year. When we say total amount of expenditure, it is not actually total amount of expenditure. It is a total amount of expenditure in terms where this reporting is required. Okay, that is given by ICAI in the guidance note. I'll show you now. Relating to goods and services which are exempt from GST, so you have to determine from your ledgers. So if you do it manually, it will take 10 to 15 minutes minimum. If you know the client, you know what type of exempt product he is buying, what type of taxable product you are buying, because we are doing the audit of many clients on a recurring basis. So we know which person is having exempt turnover and which person is not having exempt turnover. Apart from that, if you are having exempt turnover or if you are buying the exempt product, you have to create ledgers in the tally with the name GST purchase, like a purchase ledger exempted under GST, sales ledger exempted under GST. Then only we will get the data at one click, otherwise we will not get the data appropriately. There are various ways through which you can extract the data. For that, you know how to utilize the Excel sheet for clause number 44. For that, we will record a dedicated separate lecture altogether. But here we are focusing much on reporting requirement. I assume you have the data, you know how to extract the data. So for us, it is very easy because we create these ledgers in the tally. So whatever is exempt column, we will put that amount in exempt column. Say for example, we are purchasing some raw material which is exempted under the law. So that quantifying that amount, whatever is the amount is there, we will put it here. Relating to entity which is in the composition scheme. Now, how will you identify when you are doing the audit? How will you identify this particular purchase was from the composition dealer or not? So rule number 1, a composition dealer cannot collect GST from you, and he cannot issue a tax invoice. Instead of tax invoice, he is supposed to issue a bill of supply. Okay, bill of supply. So the moment you see bill of supply in your hand, you have to create a separate ledger in your tally for this expenditure, where you are buying particular product or you are taking the services from the composition dealer. So then only this information will be available with you in your tally. Then the next one is relating to other registered entities. Registered entities means this is the generic, whatever is not exempt, whatever is not from composition, the balance amount will go under this column if it is a GST oriented purchase, okay, or expenditures. Total payment to the registered entities you have to mention here. Expenditure in respect of entities not registered under GST law. Very good. This is the column government is more interested into. We have to have information about the expenditure, and if this amount is a voluminous amount, I'm telling you, you will get the scrutiny, and in your scrutiny government will not be interested only in your genuinity of the expenditure. Government will also be, if either you will prove that this expenditure is not fake expenditure, because you cannot book fake registered entity expenditure. So if it is if it is a fake expenditure, you are gone. If you are trying to prove no, this is the genuine expenditure, then government may ask you to give the details, permanent account number, Aadhaar number, location of the assessee, who is unregistered under the law, but you are incurring a very good amount of expenditure in respect of that assessee. So that's the intent of the government here. And for this, because many of the student as well as professionals are confused in respect to what all will go here. So two days back only in our office, my staff was asking me, should I mention salary also here? So I told him no, salary is not required to be mentioned here. Why? So he asked me, where is it written? It is not written here. It is written in the guidance note issued by ICAI on the tax audit, and this is for AY 22-23. So new guidance note has come around 450 pages, my dear friend. So that kind of study you people are supposed to do. 500 pages you are supposed to go through to understand the tax audit in very much detailed manner. But allow me to jump directly on the clause number 44. That's what we are going to check here. This is clause number 43. Yeah. This is the guidance note issued by ICAI on requirement of the breakup of the total expenditure here. Okay. So what are the point that you need to mention? So question may arise whether the above information may be given in each and every head of expenditure. Answer is no, there is no clarity here. So the total expenditure is to be given. Hence, guidelines may be taken from the heading of the table which start with the words breakup of the total expenditure, and hence the total expenditure indicating purchases as per the above format may be given. So not the purchases total expenditure, the expenditure which are required to be given in this format, only those expenditure you should take it here. Certain expenditure need not to be pulled. Where GST is not applicable, why will you pull it here? So they are telling us, sir, depreciation is non-GST expenditure. Depreciation is not even expenditure, it is the allowance. And apart from that, bad debt is your loss. That is also not expenditure. So these two ledgers need not to be pulled under clause number 44. Clause number 44 of form number 3CD. Not only that, there is a schedule 3 of CGST Act which talks about certain supply is neither treated as supply of goods nor treated as supply of services. So neither treated as supply of goods nor treated as supply of service means negative supply. Negative list of the supply means it is not taxable only. So there are so many items in that particular schedule, like services provided by employee to employer during the course of employment, court fees, constitutional functions, purchase of immobile property, which is not under constructed property. So all those items are covered under schedule 3. If it is covered under schedule 3, you don't have to pull it in this particular clause. You don't have to report it because this is not exempt supply definition wise. Okay, this is supply which is the non-taxable. In GST law, we call it non-taxable supply, and you don't have to report non-taxable supply in this particular clause number 44. Okay. Then it may be noted that expenditure that is incurred wholly and exclusively for the business and profession qualifies for the deduction under the Act. Registration or otherwise of the payee under the GST Act has no relevance in considering the allowability of the expenditure. So don't get confused whether the expenditure will be allowed or not. Only thing that you need to prove, if you have purchased the goods from unregistered dealer, then department may ask you to prove whether it is a genuine expenditure or not. Yeah. The format here, they are talking about format. I'm not going to talk about format again and again. We have already covered it in above discussion. Here the definition of exempt supply, because in GST law the definition of exempt supply, in GST law definition of exempt supply includes something which is a nil rated also, something which is wholly exempted by issuing a notification under GST law, okay, and something which is a non-taxable supply. So in GST law, the definition of exempt supply is very wide, but here in the column number 3 where exemption is required, it is very much precisely they are telling you exemption means exemption which is exempted under notification, and we have different notifications under GST law. If you are enjoying the notification, if you are enjoying a goods which is notified under one of the notification for which you are not making a GST payment, then only the reporting will happen here. Non-taxable supply need not to be defined here. Please understand, it is not required to be defined here. Supply of alcoholic liquor for human consumption, petroleum crude, high-speed diesel, motor spirit, natural gas, and above is not being leviable under GST. It is exempt. These are the exempt supply, and you don't have to report it here. Okay, they are not leviable under GST. Please understand. Liquor and petroleum product, you don't have to do reporting. Expenditure relating to the entities under composition scheme. Yeah, we have discussed this. Bill of supplies, whatever bill of supplies you have to create a separate ledger for the composition dealer, and then that has to be reported in that particular column. Next, what I'm supposed to tell. Last column is about unregistered dealers, people who are not registered. This is the information that you may ask to your client: expenditure head, name of the entity to whom payment is made, GSTN of the entity, value debited to the expenditure account, value on which input tax credit is taken, total amount paid to the vendor, nil, reason for nil GST. If the GST is not paid, then you have to ask whether it was exempted, whether it was a composition, whether it was a not taxable supply in your remark. Okay, so this is a format that they are giving you. You can create this column and you can ask either client to fill the format, or if client is not given, in our case, client is not giving you this format. So our employees are only putting extra efforts and creating the format and doing the reporting under clause number 44. I guess that is enough discussion on clause number 44 we had. Practical preparing of the Excel sheet I will cover in the next lecture, and we will try to share the format on our Telegram channel as well. Thank you.